Hi, I'm Barry Sandoval. Welcome to our February auction of vintage comics and original comic art. I think I probably got your attention with this Batman 1 and Superman 1 right in front of me, but if not, some of the other things I'm about to talk about surely will. For example, look at this first picture here. It's Sensation Comics number 1, the only 9.4 copy, the highest graded copy overall of this early Wonder Woman appearance, just her second appearance after she debuted in All-Star number 8. Great Golden Age book. And on our next picture, we're moving from DC to Timely or Marvel, whatever you want to call it. It's Captain America Comics number 1, one of the 10 most valuable comics in the hobby. It's coveted in any condition, and this is an unrestored copy. We have a very nice restored copy in the sale as well. Classic cover with Cap giving Hitler his just desserts. And our next picture has another classic cover, very much in the same vein. It's Daredevil Comics number 1. Came out just a few months after Captain America 1. And this is from the Pinnacle Hill collection, which is the amazing collection of Golden Age key books that also produced the Detective 27 and the Adventure 40. You'll find separate video descriptions of those two books also on our website. Speaking of classic covers, here's one by one of the classic artists. It's Alex Schomburg on Startling Comics number 49. He was a real master of the airbrush, and this is one of the great collectible covers in all of comics. Our next photo is a unique item, a bound volume of Superman number 1 to 12. Now, we don't know the exact provenance of this. Bound volumes from the Golden Age were usually made by publishers. If you're not familiar with bound volumes, the fact that they're bound and between the hardcovers and being pressed together usually means the comics inside stay in excellent condition. And we are talking about Superman number 1 through 12 after all, so just try finding those 12 issues as regular copies and try affording them all in high grade if you can. Pretty tough. Our next photo is another item for the Superman fan who has everything, so to speak. It's the extremely scarce Superman contest ring. This is one of the most valuable comic-related premiums. Only about 20 are known to exist. You can actually see ads for this in some early issues of Action Comics if you're able to look through some of those. Now, all of the preceding has really only scratched the surface of the Golden Age books in the auction, but our next photo here is moving on to the Silver Age. It's Green Lantern number 1. Highest graded copy here, CGC 9.4, and if you've been following recent trends and following our auctions lately, you've seen that Showcase number 22, which was the first appearance of this Green Lantern, has really shot up in value, and so we expect very high demand for the sole highest graded copy of number 1 of his regular book. Next photo, different kind of character, but also something that's tough to find in high grade, Richie Rich number 1 in 9.4. Moving from the mainstream to the undergrounds, here on this next picture is what you could call the Action 1 of the undergrounds. It's Zap Comics number 1. We've got 2 copies in the auction, both from the collection of Jay Lynch, the well-known underground artist. This copy shown here is interesting. You'll notice the logo is in a lighter blue than you might be familiar with. This is from the early run of the first printing, and if you read our description online, we've interviewed the principals and have the whole story on this unusual variant copy. Our next picture is Cerebus number 1 from 1977. This is the highest graded copy on the census at CGC 9.4. Cerebus only had an initial print run of about 2,000 copies from a time when Marvel was doing 100 times that, and most copies were reportedly pretty poorly printed. So we expect this to be one of the highest demand Bronze Age comics that we've ever auctioned. And speaking of high demand books, our next photo is, of course, one of the most recognizable Bronze Age covers. The book that everybody wishes they had bought off the stands when they had the chance. It's Hulk 181 with the first full appearance of Wolverine, CGC 9.8. Now let's move on to your original art. The first art lot shown here is a Jack Kirby Thor cover. What's remarkable about this, it's in the twice up size. As you may know, you can find later Marvel covers, you can find twice up panel pages from the Silver Age. Nobody really knows what happened to all of the twice up covers from the Silver Age. This one's been in a collection over the years, hasn't been offered for sale before. And of course, it's art by the king of the comics, Jack Kirby. Our next picture is also Jack Kirby, just from a few years later, from a Hulk annual. What I love about this one is, of course, Kirby was one of the main artists of the Monster Mags a few years before that, and ringing around the Hulk, you can see some of the characteristic monsters as only Kirby could always think them up. Another original art highlight of the sale is the Joe Kubert collection. It's hard to pick a favorite here. All of these are from Mr. Kubert's archives and have never been offered for sale before. I really like this Unknown Soldier one we're showing here, just because the usual DC war cover theme is the good guys are unaware that the Nazis are sneaking up on them. This time it's the Unknown Soldier who's got a surprise for the bad guys, and I love the little touches like that rat at the bottom right that really creates atmosphere. Another one of the greats is Neal Adams on our next picture here. X-Men panel page, only the second X-Men panel page by him from that classic era that Heritage has ever offered. The next picture is Bernie Wrightson's first published professional work. He started on these mystery 3-pagers for DC, but if you look closely, you can see his style was already quite mature at the time, and we have a huge Wrightson selection in the auction. One of his tryouts, a tryout drawing when he was trying to be the artist on Conan for Marvel, is another one I would mention here. Check them all out on the website. Our next image, Wally Wood, Daredevil. This is from Daredevil number 7, the first appearance of Daredevil's red costume, which was designed by Wood, and that's became Daredevil's iconic look, so we're thrilled to have a page from that issue. Now, you're probably familiar with that page as a comic collector, but you may not be familiar with the story behind the next one. This next one is also Wally Wood, but it's on Prince Valiant. He actually tried out to be the regular artist on the feature when Hal Foster left it, and the job eventually went to John Cullen Murphy, but Wood's one tryout strip actually did see publication, and this is it. So this is your one chance to grab it. If you should miss out for any reason, if you look on our next photo, this is Prince Valiant drawn by Foster. We've got some great Hal Foster examples as well, and some nice ones from John Cullen Murphy also. Our next image is a Peanuts Sunday strip, an early one. It's got the football theme. The unusual twist is this time it's Lucy carrying the pigskin herself. That heads up our Peanuts selection, which is one of the best that we've offered. There's another football one in there. Other ones with some early characters who might not be familiar to all collectors. I think you'll enjoy looking at them on the website. So those are some of my favorites. I'm sure you'll have others, since there are 1,500 lots in the auction in all. But you've got plenty of time to click through all of them at ha.com. I hope you enjoy. Happy browsing and happy bidding.